Blue Lock first season in under 20 minutes. Go. The Japan Football Association only cares about making the next best football moneymaker. But this character, Henri, disagrees and says she wants Japan to win the World Cup by introducing Blue Lock, which will be a facility that will make Japan's next best striker. We cut to our main character Isugi, playing in the qualifier game in which if he wins, his school's team goes to nationals, and he's clearly making easy work against the opposing team, but oh look, someone who thinks they know better. Why doesn't he know better? Well, he gets the ball from Isugi and misses. The opposing team's ace striker, Kira, gets the ball and scores a second goal for his team and wins the match. Isugi is left distraught on his way home for losing that match. He arrives home and his parents tell him he has received a letter. The letter reads that he's chosen to become a WWE Super Certified athlete. Cut to another day. Isugi is standing in front of this building he was told to go from the letter he received. Kira is also there. They exchange gay pleasantries and head inside. Inside there are a bunch of weirdos and this guy who's my favorite. Then this much taller weirdo called Ego comes out onto stage in front of the room. He calls everyone stupid for playing football wrong, and the key is to be selfish and abandon all common sense. Everyone disagrees until Isugi shows he agrees, and then suddenly everyone agrees. Cut to the Blue Lock facility and Isugi heads inside his room, is greeted by Kira, a buff ginger guy, and a sleeping cat, and oh look, it's Ego. Oh look, it's time to play football tag. Kira was eliminated by Isugi. Ego tells Kira to lock off as losing means being disqualified from the entire facility. Kira gets a budget increase for a second to then never be seen again. Cue training montage. First match, Isugi's team called Team Z go up against Team X. The match starts and it immediately erupts to chaos. Everyone is trying to advance as the top scorer, so they all pile onto where the ball is until this guy, Baru, takes the ball and scores. Baru's goal unites his team to work together as they now believe they can win as a team instead of as individuals. Team Z still hate each other though. 5 goals down and Isugi and Bachada, you know, the cat boy from earlier, decide fuck losing 5-0. Bachada passes to Isugi close to the goal. Isugi faces Baru. Isugi big brains and passes, only instead this time to Kunigami, the ginger guy, scores. Isugi sensed a goal and passed reflexively to the person who could get that goal. The game ends 5-1, so Team Z lost their first match. Cut to the planning room. Apparently you need a weapon to produce goals. What's a weapon? A football ability? Who has what weapon? Check out my Blue Lock character weapon shorts for more details on players' weapons. Cut to the next match. Team Z versus Team Y. Team Y scores. They then stall for the rest of the first half. Second half starts. Gargamaru, this guy, scores a goal and then eats a goalpost to the stomach. It's all tied up. Time for Isugi to start contributing. Isugi notices this guy called Nico is actually calling all the shots on the opposing team. So Isugi decides to hard target him and steals the ball. Isugi to Kunigami, to Bachada, to Isugi to... Isugi scored his first goal in Blue Lock. Isugi discovered what being a sadist feels like. Ego is watching the events unfold, exposing that he may be a cuck. Cut to the sleep room. Isugi is too energized after discovering his new kink, so he can't sleep, so instead he goes into the monitoring room. He finds his teammate Chigiri watching his goal. They talk, and Chigiri gets mad about talking about football because his leg hates it. It's later now. Team Z are running through strategies before going into the match against Team W. This guy shows up late for a totally non-related reason, maybe. Later on, kickoff for Team Z versus Team W starts. This guy who never used to be able to get a goal has now gone 3 in a row. Team Z is now up. The guy that scored 3 goals now is throwing the game because oh no, turns out he was late for a related reason. He betrayed his own team to advance as the top scorer for his team, revealing a deal was made to give away all the intel he had on his teammates in exchange for 3 goals, which would currently be enough for him to advance as the top scorer. It was all planned. Team W now counters, scoring 4 goals back. They didn't plan for this convenient plot buff though. Shigiri's backstory is revealed. The reason why his leg hates him is because he ran too fast and tore his ACL. Apparently he knows these 2 dorks as well, as they played on the same team, and they were first jealous of his abilities and then bullied him for no longer wanting to risk running so fast due to his injury. Isugi's determination to win at all costs inspires Chigiri to awaken his ego, to play every game like it was his last. Isugi passes to Chigiri and solos the entire opposing team, leading to his first goal in Blue Lock. The match ends in a draw, saving Team Z from elimination elimination if they win their next game. The traitor gets beat up and then runs off. The traitor tries to align himself with Team V, but then gets called bad at the game by Reo, Zantetsu, and the top scorer of the facility, Nagi, who are all representing Team V. Some backstory is shown of how Reo got into football and how he wanted to succeed in an objective of his own instead of being handed everything by his parents, to then meet Nagi, who Reo considers his treasure, and the true reason in why he got into football. Isugi goes to find Baru to receive some advice. Baru hates friendship and tries to have a dick measuring contest with Isugi by scoring against him 3 times in a one-on-one matchup. Isugi thanks Baru for something, no clue what. We then cut ahead to the final match, Team Z versus Team V. Begin! Wow, Team V are already up 3 goals. All seems lost. Bartrada decides fuck losing 3-0 and solos Team V to score. Team Z are now inspired and Kunigami scores a goal, making it 3-2. Half-time break. Second half, Reo elbows Raichi in the throat for taunting and man-marking him. Chigiri gets a goal because speed is key! The traitor is confused on how Team Z are doing so well against the undefeated Team V and yells at them for being bad at the game. Reo begins to get upsetty over the possibility of him and Nagi losing for the first time. Nagi decides to start trying and scores an awakened goal. Kunigami then scores, making it 4-4. Isugi is beginning to understand his weapon of viewing the field more and more as the match goes on. Nagi almost solos and scores, but the traitor intentionally tackles him and receives a red card which prevents him from advancing as the top goal scorer, instead making Kunigami the person to advance as the top goal scorer if Team Z loses. Upon getting a red card, Reo receives a free kick. Almost everyone expects Reo to pass to Nagi, but instead he shoots. The goalkeeper didn't expect Reo to pass and saves the ball. The rebound lands to Nagi and he shoots over the defenders, but Gargamaru manages to get to the ball before it goes in and deflects it off the crossbar.
This ain't over!
The loose ball lands at Isugi's feet. This is their last chance. Time for a counter-attack. Isugi passes over to Bartrada, who gets past a few players on Team V, but then passes back to Isugi when he is being held back. Team V were desperate to even get a foul on Team Z so they didn't lose. Isugi receives the ball from Bartrada and then passes to Chigiri. Isugi uses Chigiri as bait and receives the ball from Chigiri and continues heading forward. Isugi passes to Kunigami, but then is blocked by Zantetsu, flinging the ball into the air. The ball is about to go out, but then Raichi kicks it back into the field before that happens. Bartrada gets the ball and passes it to Isugi from across the field. Isugi could win the game.
Again, we seem to keep meeting, don't we?
Nagi appears and Isugi's path to the goal disappears. The ball, just before landing at his feet,
my goal. That's right, Isugi. Remember your goal.
There it is. I can see it again.
Isugi recalls all his previous strikes, realizing his weapon for goals was his direct shot.
Found it. My formula for scoring.
Isugi scores the game-winning point and the match ends 4-5 to Team Z, advancing the whole team to the next selection. Fast forward a bit, every player gathers into one room, but there's more than normal. Turns out there were multiple facilities who had players under the same structure as Isugi's facility. Ego appears on a big screen announcing the start of the second selection and disappears. This new character puts their dick on the table and hits 2 balls into the sky, making them collide midair and enters into the doorway that leads into the second selection. Isugi then follows after and goes through the doorway, and that's the end of the first first selection of Blue Lock. Isugi enters into this new room where the first stage of the second selection begins. We are introduced to the series' third most memorable goalkeeper, Blue Lock Man. The challenge is for every single striker to score 100 goals in 90 minutes. Isugi has to adapt to the difficulty of scoring against a hologram who is more competent than any goalie he's faced before. After the first 30 goals, the difficulty spikes up. They add some stationary defenders, then after 60 goals, the stationary defenders start not being so stationary and the balls sent to the player are much faster, and I swear legs aren't supposed to bend like that. Isugi succeeds. This is because, of course he does. He heads into the next stage where he meets up with Bachelor. The next task is simple. Form a team of 3 to advance and have this team of 3 face off against another team of 3. Each time a team wins, they get to pick another player from the team that they just beat until they have 5 players. The losing team loses a teammate after every loss, and the person not picked after losing their 2-on-2 game will be eliminated entirely. Isugi and Bachelor decide to team up. Nagi appears and wants Isugi to join him and Reo, but Isugi loves his top harem boy too much, so Nagi decides he wants to be Isugi's top harem boy instead and joins him and Bachelor. Reo is left to be sad whilst Nagi couldn't really give much of a shit. The team of Isugi, Bachelor and Nagi arrive into a room with one other team, which is coincidentally the top 3 players of Blue Lock, Rin, Ayu and Tokimitsu. Ego spouts some shit in how this stage works like I already did and disappears. Isugi is a cocky piece of shit and challenges the top 3 players team. How well did this go? Well, they lost. Bachelor is chosen to be on the winning team to make them a team of 4. Isugi and Nagi go into the loser's gate and cue the sick ass intro. The judgment. Isugi decides now is a good time to cry like he isn't the main character or something. Nagi reminds him that he's the main character, so why the fuck is he crying like he will lose? Then enters the team of Baru and Naruhaya, one of Isugi's forgettable Team Z teammates, who also lost their last game. Later on it's decided that the match between Isugi and Naruhaya's team to risk it all must happen if either average Joe looks to improve. Match begins and Baru is proving his worth by scoring, Nagi proves his worth by scoring also, Naruhaya proves his worth by throwing away his chances at winning, and Isugi proves his worth by stealing his opponent's only character-defining feature. Surprise, surprise, the team with the main character on it didn't get eliminated, and of course they choose Baru. Later on they find the team of Kunigami, Chigiri and Reo chilling nude in this quite unnecessary bath scene, and the match is set up between the 2 teams to clash. Cut to the match, and we see that Baru is once again showing his worth by being a selfish prick, and this immediately causes Isugi's team to be at a 0-2 disadvantage, with Chigiri scoring the first goal and Kunigami scoring the second. Isugi realizes that it won't help utilizing Baru at all due to his selfishness, so he instead uses his scent for goals and spatial awareness to assist Nagi to get a point for their team, and as a result of this, discovering a chemical reaction between them. Baru says he'd rather drop dead than pass, further making Isugi's job of finding a way to win this game much harder without Baru's abilities at his disposal. Thanks to an assist from Chigiri, Kunigami finds another goal, making the score 1-3. Isugi decides being a metaphorical cannibal is the only option as he sets his sights on devouring Baru's playstyle. Isugi makes it seem like he'll pass to Baru when dribbling to him, but actually uses him as bait to pass to Nagi. Nagi traps the ball, and Chigiri and Reo attempt to double team him, but Nagi kept his eyes on Isugi as Kunigami was trying to maintain Baru, passing the ball back to Isugi, in which leads to another goal for their team. Reo starts with the next ball and begins his team link-up play. A pass to Chigiri, then a pass to Kunigami, but Baru intercepts and tries once again to do it all himself, and big shocker, he fails. But Isugi knew that he would fail. He positioned himself ready to poach the ball and tackled it off Baru's selfish charge. Chigiri attempts to intercept, but then Isugi makes a pass to an open Nagi, which gets another goal for their team. Chigiri then starts cooking on high heat and scores an awakened goal on his own. As Isugi and Nagi spoke to one another, the starting ball was shot to the goal by Baru from the halfway line, but Baru scuffed it. Kunigami tried to retrieve it, which led to Nagi putting pressure on him to make a pass. Reo tried to retrieve the passed ball, but Isugi read his movement, so Reo had to kick it completely away. Baru was ready to snatch up the loose ball, but Chigiri was hot on his tail. Baru will lose the ball at this rate, but Isugi then appears from the darkness, making Baru unwillingly pass the ball to him, leading to another Isugi goal. As Baru's world begins to crumble, Isugi and Nagi devise their final gambit. Reo, as always for his team, starts with the ball. A pass to Kunigami is deemed useless, so he tries to feint out Isugi to clear a pass to Chigiri. Nagi intercepts the pass path, and the loose ball lands to Baru. A huge bit of internal dialogue plays out in how Baru doesn't want to be a WWE superstar, so instead he wants to be even more of a twat and chop feints every fucker in his way and scores, ending the game as a win for Isugi's team. Chigiri is selected as the player to join Isugi's team, which leaves Ryo and Kunigami as a team of 2. Ryo has a tsundere moment with Nagi, and Nagi calls him a little bitch boy and leaves. Now it's time for our rematch. Isugi challenges Rin once again, but this time it's a 4-on-4. Isugi goes into this with the purpose of winning back Bachelor because his harem simply can't be without his cat boy. The match kicks off. Bachelor starts by attempting to break through, but Isugi predicted this. Baru is instantly pressuring Bachelor for a pass, in which Isugi intercepts. Isugi passes to Nagi, who then, because of Rin's positioning, makes a pass over to Chigiri to break through and score the first goal of the match. Bachelor starts off with a no-look pass to Ryu. Ryu passes to Tokimitsu, and Baru tries to put the pressure on the muscle freak but fails as Tokimitsu passes to an unchecked Rin. After Rin absolutely owns everyone, he scores. Isugi once again activates his cannibal tendencies and seeks to find a way to devour Rin. Isugi attempts to push up with his off-the-ball movements but is instantly scouted out by Rin. Rin passes to Bachelor, and Bachelor makes this pass that is just straight up hacks to Ryu, who scores with a header. Nagi keeps his eyes on Isugi in order to assist him. Nagi later receives an adapted pass from Isugi, and Nagi executes his 2-stage fake volley when Rin tries to intercept. The score is now 2-2. Rin then immediately claps back and makes this undetected pass to Bachelor for Bachelor to score, and then, after Isugi was outplayed by Rin, Baru snatches up the ball and is here to feast, scoring in the way in which Rin could never predict, by stealing the ball from his own teammates. A whole lot of interactions later, Chigiri and Baru receive a yellow card after tackling Tokimitsu for pumping too many performance-enhancing drugs into his abnormally sized biceps. A free kick is given to Rin, and of course Isugi is a dumbass and doesn't jump to try and block Rin's shot because he overthinked it. Rin scores, making it 3-4. Isugi manages to draw a cluster of players when he is in possession of the ball, passing to Chigiri down the wing. Chigiri makes a pass to Isugi, who manages to swivel his way into the near post, but of course Rin predicted that. Isugi pulls a direct back heel out of his ass and scores against Rin, outsmarting Rin for the first time with his own abilities. Oh yeah, I didn't mention that Bachelor has been going through this whole backstory about his ego. Probably not important. Isugi is about to shit on his former harem partner. A direct shot lines up perfectly from a Nagi chest pass, but Rin saves it at the last moment. The loose ball lands to Bachelor, who dribbles upfield. More internal dialogue on Bachelor's ego. He then erases the essence of his monster in order to awaken his true self. He 1v3s Chigiri, Nagi, and Baru to then shoot, only for it to be blocked by Isugi, who predicted Bachelor's attempt to go in alone. But the loose ball, randomly, mercilessly, even cruelly, landed at the feet of the victor.
Game over. The final score is 5-4. Team Red wins.
The winner once again is Rin's team. However, this time Rin alone is the one to pick who joins their team, realizing in that last play he was unable to read it. The ball landed to him by sheer luck, and that annoyed him to his very core. Isugi is chosen to be the 5th player on their team. Cut forward, and in a separate room with the 5-player team, Ego explains the concept of luck and how it played a major role in Isugi losing that match. Next up, their team will face the World 5. Now, I'm about to give this next match just as much time as the animators actually wanted to give it. So, here we go. Oh no, Team Blue Lock got demolished. This shows that there is still a very big gap between the Blue Lock players and the best of the best in football. Cut to the last place in the last episode, 7 teams of 5 are revealed to have made it through the second selection, and the biggest shock of the series, Kunigami was eliminated and replaced by another more gay character. Ego reveals the start of the 3rd selection training, as they are now under the pressure to get good, as they will face the Japan U20 team in order to decide the fate of Blue Lock, because the big corporation guys hate how much money this project is using. This brings us to the end of Season 1 of Blue Lock. Be sure to leave a like and subscribe, and until next time, peace.